letting it all hang out. House.
My name is Clif. Is this thing going?
It's less electricity than most light bulbs.
There will not be a quiz after this, don't worry. I say that because I'm a state certified educator in the state of Texas. Been an educator, and this is Sunday. It's kind of strange for me. I'm a Baylor graduate. I did my undergrad at Baylor, so are y'all ready to come to cannabis meeting today? Yeah. How many THC activists do we have out there? Everybody should be raising your hand, because being here, you are a hemp and cannabis activist. You are a Texas hemp and cannabis activist if you're from Texas. And everyone is an activist in some form, because if you're an activist, you have to have a belief system. I mean, even the ARP people are activists. For everyone over 55 years old, they do active work to change laws, to educate people, just like we try to do. That's what our job is as activists. You know, I don't know if you can read it. It says there are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to accept what is true. And we see that daily in our lives. We hear it from our representatives every day. You know, I've heard so many people talk over the last couple of days, and a lot of the things that they say are so true. I taught politics and economics and history and geography and political geography, all of those subjects. In 2001, the state of Texas gave me a Texas Senate commendation for education. So I think I know what I can do. In 2004, well, in 2003, after 28 years of misdiagnosis, the VA finally said, no, you're a 100% disabled veteran, and you can no longer work. And I know we've had you on all these opiates all these years, but we're going to put you on the best thing we possibly can. We're going to put you on methadone. And they put me on methadone for 4 years, 3 times a day. I was popping methadone, along with about 27 other prescriptions. Quality of life went from Texas Senate Commended Educator of the Year. I was also an administrator, did my postgrad work at Tarleton State in education administration, became a certified teacher evaluator. My job was to teach people how to teach. And so now I'm 100% disabled, unemployable, service-connected disabled veteran. One of my eyes is not real, and most people try to guess which eye I'm going to wear someday. Because I have all different kinds. My doctor is really cool. He makes all hey, I made you a new eye today. Wore one day, and it kind of scared people. It was solid red, had a little cannabis leaf doing this as the pupil. You know, waked and baked too hard this morning. But what is activism? Activism is being in motion, folks. It's actually moving forward in a progression movement. Activism. Everyone has activism in them. Whether it's for your religion, whether it's for your job and what you do, whether you're a musician, like, how many people know who Slightly Stupid is? Great bunch of guys. Great bunch of guys. And their activism comes out in their music. You see, I'm writing a book about all of you people. It's called THC Activist, in the plural. And I'm interviewing all these wonderful activists all over the world. And I'm putting all of their thoughts about what it takes to get this paradigm shift that we're going through all the way. It's swinging. It's swinging real hard. And we got to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep pushing it. It's not going to get there without our help. And so activism is movement. It's kind of like, you know, Orwell once said, and I say this a lot to people because it's so true, that during times of universal deceit, telling the truth can become a revolutionary act. And you know what I say to that? Welcome to the revolution. Because we are telling the truth. So welcome to the revolution, ladies and gentlemen. Is activism sitting on the couch, toking and kicking back? You bet your butt it is. Because you're being authoritative defiant. You really are. You may think, yeah, screw it, it's okay. Excuse my language, I'm kind of blunt. No pun intended. So, you know, I was speaking the other day and I said, I'm kind of blunt, kind of like Alan St. Pierre. I call, and it's Sunday, so I didn't want to say that. But, and I said, and there's a lot of ignorant ones down in Austin. And we keep putting them there, and we keep putting them there, and we keep putting them there. And there's people up here that are no longer with us because we didn't do our job. Ben Massell from Wisconsin, one of the biggest activists ever. They're getting a hemp law, Wisconsin, that our representatives make jokes about. Oh, you know, we're going to have to cut it up before they smoke it. It's industrial hemp, you ignorant bastard. It's industrial hemp. And another one goes, you know, maybe they'll put it in a plastic baggie or something like that whenever it's, you know, processed. It's industrial hemp, you ignorant bastard. And you know what I did? What you should have done? What other people should have done? I picked up the phone and I said, hey, you know what? I read the news this morning because I get about 16 newspapers every morning. And it was in the Texas Tribune that the chairman, who happens to be my representative in my district for the Agricultural Committee, took off his cowboy hat, put it on the podium, and made those jokes. So I called him up and I said, every time you make a joke, you're making jokes about my dead sons. A while ago, but Stephen made a mention about a gentleman who was a veteran who did not even get to go to his son's funeral because he was so messed up on pills. You're looking at him. In 2007, I lost one of my sons, just like Cashy, to a brain tumor. 2 months from his 30th birthday. He was born with it, and he lived with it that long. In 2011, I lost my second son to a brain tumor. 2 days from his 39th birthday. I know I look real young, don't I? Thank you, you can say that. But anyway, and that's what we're talking about. And I don't care if it's industrial hemp, I don't care if it's medical use, and I don't care if it's for personal use. Most people call it recreational, I call it personal. And in fact, guess what? It's all personal use. What you are using is yours to use. It's personal. Whose business is it what you do? I would rather live, like Thomas Jefferson said, under dangerous freedom than live under peaceful slavery. I would rather be the couch smoker and be authoritative defiant. Yeah, maybe I didn't get out and do the right thing and vote that ignorance out and vote compassion and understanding and intelligence in. They are intelligent. They have education. Hopefully they have education. But it's educated ignorance. And if you don't understand it, there's a book out about it. Ignorance isn't stupid. It's not understanding. It's not caring to understand. And it takes people like Ben Massell. It takes people like Jamie, who wants to stand up for people. It takes people like Keith Strauch, who says, enough is enough. Let's start an organization so that we can change laws in this country. Of course, they're trying to change laws to try to circumvent that so we can't change laws. You know, we want to have ballot initiative here in Texas, and we have ballot initiative on alcohol. We can tell you what county you can go and get your alcohol in and what county you can't go and get your alcohol in. We'd have ballot initiative on tobacco, where you can smoke your cigarettes and where you can't smoke your cigarettes. In 1997, the Texas State Legislature thought in their all wisdom and omnipotence that it was important enough for them to take ballot initiative away from the people of the state of Texas on cannabis. Instead of letting the people go ahead and redress their grievances with their representatives in San Marcos, they arrested them for public disruption. And then the next legislative session, they said, we're going to take this. No ballot initiative in Texas in any municipal area on cannabis. We spell it with marijuana with an H in Texas because, like Larry said, because we're so discriminatory. In 1919, that's how the law was written, because that's how the Hispanics pronounced it. So we're discriminated, arbitrarily, capriciously, discriminatory. God, don't you love the law in Texas? This is what we do. What about the police? Jamie's going to talk to you about the police later, I know. You see this big tree over here? That's Jorge. I don't know. Let me see if I can get that moved over a little bit. But that's Jorge Cervantes right there. And that is, yes, that is a cannabis tree. Not a bush. It's a friggin' tree. Isn't it beautiful? That's Carly Duran. I don't know if y'all know her, but those are the people, that's what activism looks like. It's people who are going ahead and saying, look, people need medicine. People need to go ahead and have their liberties given back to them. I'm going to help them, and I'm going to show them how to do it. It's people like Carly Duran from San Antonio NORML, who is, by the way, the High Times Freedom Fighter of the month for June. Wish she could be here today, but her daughter got out of school on Friday. Priorities. See, we still know what our priorities are. It's not just kicking back on the couch and smoking. You know, yesterday after I left, I went home to Waco so I could watch my daughter dance, who came down from Lubbock. She danced at Baylor last night. Drove up this morning because y'all are here. I needed to be here so that y'all could understand what activism is and what you can do to take it to the next level. Everybody's been telling you what to do. We've been giving you education. And that's what it looks like. It's Willie Nelson going up and using his medium to be an activist for cannabis. It's Ganja John. It's people like that. It's Carly. It's Russ. It's Keith. It's Eric. It's Sean. It's Pete. It's Jamie. It's you. It takes every one of you. What is your job? It's very simple. And I always talk about people voting. Voter turnout in the state of Texas is the lowest it's ever been. Ever. In 2011, we had 10 amendments to the Constitution with only 1.1 of the total voting population that turned out to vote. out of 17 million eligible voters, 1.1%. What's your job? You feel misrepresented, so you don't vote. Well, guess what? Some people feel represented by those idiots, and they do vote. So you end up with the status quo. The same guy that you don't like is going to get back in office, and you're still going to bitch about him. And you're going to complain about him. And you're going to do the wrong thing. Because all you're going to do is get on social media and say, isn't he a jerk? And you're going to call up your friend, and you're going to go, yeah, did you hear what that asshole just said? I can't believe it. And if you see news on TV, and it's a big screen, you throw your shoe at it, and then you go, oh, I hope it doesn't hit it. But you don't do the right thing and pick up the phone, and you call that representative, and you call him on the carpet. And you say, you know what? You really messed up in the committee hearing yesterday. I saw it on video. Why are you making jokes and having that kind of decorum in legislative session? You're supposed to have some kind of decorum. You're a leader. Most of y'all probably get the same letters I get back. I will look into it, and if it, I will get back to you. No, not good enough. Phone. Right? It's over there plugged in. I have my representatives in my contacts. I have the White House on speed dial. I have every member of Congress because there's an app on your smartphone that you can put every member of Congress on your phone. And remember, when they are in a committee, every one of them represents you. You're automatically their constituent. So everyone should be calling Lois Colcourse to the Public Health Committee and saying, guess what? You need to hear the medical bill a little bit earlier in the session next year so we can get it voted on, get it to the floor, and get it through the committee and get work done. And this is how you do it. 4 easy steps. Excuse me. Besides doing all of this, like getting involved, joining like-minded organizations and stuff like that, you got to vote. You really do. If you don't, guess what? You're stuck with the status quo. Register to vote. It's real easy. First thing. I am a Texas voter registrar. I can register anybody in the state of Texas to vote. And I didn't have to go through a lot of rigmarole to do it. Just went down, swore in, yeah, I'll do this. It's that easy. Every normal chapter needs to have a voter registrar in it so that you can register new voters to vote all the time. So register to vote. Second thing is know every candidate. Every candidate and their positions on every issue that concerns you. And don't think that just because one issue concerns you that they're your friend. Okay? Please. Just because they might be cannabis friendly doesn't mean that they're going to be friendly for everything that you're friendly for. But it's a start. Heck, it was progress in Texas just to get 2 bills finally heard. That's progress. That's progress. And it's because of organizations like NORML and organizations like the Texas Compassionate Care Coalition and people like Ann Lee, whose son happens to be Richard Lee of Oaksterdam University, founder of Oaksterdam, who is a staunch Republican who gave them hell. She did not let that committee breathe. She was at both hearings I was at. The decrim, they called it decrim, I would call it lower penalty. And the medical affirmative defense bill, which is a step. Every inch gained in this movement is a step. It's like a football game. You ever hear that? How many of you ever seen Any Given Sunday? Every inch gained is an inch gained. And in this movement, every inch gained is an inch gained. Actually, it's a friggin' mile. Every inch that we can get is a milestone in this movement. It's been going on way too long. And so the third thing that you have to do is what? After you learn about all your candidates. It's the easiest thing. Vote. Just vote. Do it early because you never know where the hell you might be on Super Tuesday. Oh gosh, it's 7. I just forgot. I got busy. Early vote. Do you know that more people turned out for, even though only 1.1% turned out in 2011 for those amendments, that over 8% of them early voted. So that means only, well, it was close to, 8%. 8% early voted. So about 6% showed up, or 0.6% showed up, on Tuesday. When we elected Perry back in, only 24%, 11% actually showed up to vote. He won in an astounding 57% of the vote, under 11% of the total voting population. That means that 8% approximately of the total voting population really put Governor Perry back in office. And that's our job as activists. There's a fourth thing. I said there was 4 things. We don't stop at 3 just by voting. If you do not follow up with that person once they get into office, remember, the difference between a candidate and a politician, a career politician, can be a simple stroll into the office and no one doing their job. You're not calling them on the carpet. You're not sitting there going, wait a minute. You said, and now you're living on K Street, getting lobbyist funding to work against us. Do we need to vote you out? And it's real simple. Don't be afraid of government. How many people are afraid of their government? Don't be afraid of your government. Look in the mirror. There you are. That's government. We, the people, was not written in pencil and it's not erased from the Constitution. You are the government. I know we're running a little bit behind, I'm sorry. And look, it's written in the sky. It's written in the sky. This is how we do it. We educate, and today you're getting an education. Now, I told you there's no quiz here in a minute. But you're getting an education today, and you got one yesterday too. And what your job is now is to empower others with that education. We've empowered you. We've given you that ability today and yesterday to take what you have learned and use that against the rhetoric, that brick wall of rhetoric that you keep running into. Because I guarantee you, just like Orwell said, telling the truth becomes revolutionary, but it's the right thing to do. And whenever you see wrong and then you don't call it to, you don't call them on it, then you're not doing your job. I don't want them to think that it's only me they're hearing from, because I'm tired of them going, oh God, here comes that son of a bitch Clif again. Oh God, They really do. And, you know, I've talked to them and they go, you know, I'm really kind of, you know, I'd put my name on it, you know, but I'm worried about what my colleagues would worry. Your colleagues don't work, you don't work for your colleagues. You work for your constituency. You better worry about them. That's who you better worry about, is your constituency. And so we can multiply this because your ignorance is their power. And remember, complaining without action is silence. That's exactly what it is. Complaining without action is silence. And I want to give you a little bit of something. Just a little bit. Just take a couple minutes. This is, and I want to thank our sponsors for this, but a couple of normal chapters got together, and we thought that this would be fun, and you can see Carly, she's right here. And I'm waiting for it to download, and it says it's in progress, or it says it can't. Oh, wait. Did I do that? Is it? Well, yeah, okay. Here we go. Oh, no. Did I do the wrong thing? Well, I wanted to give you a little taste of Denver, but you can do that. You can go to my Facebook page, or you can go to Carly's page, or you can just pull it up on YouTube. But it was our trip to the Denver Cup, in which we went up there and interviewed quite a few people, Dr. Melamede being one of them. And I think one of the greatest things he ever said was this: why do we have 300 processes to make a pill when all we got to do is plant a seed? It's as simple as that. Why do we have 300 processes to make a pill when all we have to do is plant a seed? And that's all you have to do. The seed of knowledge can never be taken away. It can't be chopped down. It can be knocked out of your brain every once in a while. But they can't, whenever you're arrested, they can't take that away from you. They can take away your voting right if you're, arrested for the wrong reasons. But knowledge is power, and that's something they cannot take away from you, is your ability to think, your ability to look up information. The big lie versus the little lie.